Hey YouTube, TJ's Tech Corner here making a video on, well, I made a video on my Yobo FC game console, and, well, I mentioned a few things in that review and in part 2. So I just want to make a follow-up video and say this clone system is awesome, although it depends on which version you get. The version 1, you want to make sure you have a good voltage regulator in it, because the ones they have in them are not good. They will conk out at some point. Fortunately, I have the version that doesn't have that. Although, there's two versions of the version 2. There's one with the controller port labeling above, and then there's ones in the front. I have the ones that are in the front. However, that's not what I want to talk about in this video. As you can read from the title, I have this, I have my Armor3 AV to HD adapter hooked up to my TV. I don't know if you can see on screen, but I have this adapter. It's the Armor3 model M07315 new scope converter box for AV to HD. I bought this at my local Entertainment, and yeah, I'm going to show you what happens when I try to fire up NES Open Tournament Golf. We're going to be testing it on the AV Famicom first, because I have that hooked up, and then I'll demonstrate with the Yobo FC game console on what happens. So first, let's test it with my AV Famicom. Look at that, nothing wrong. And here's me changing the aspect ratio to 720. Whoops. But yeah, you get the idea. That's what it looks like when you have it hook up to a legit NES, or in this case my AV Famicom. Now I'm going to go ahead and hook up my Yobo FC game console and show you what happens. So I'm going to switch this off and plug my Yobo FC in. I'll tell you what happens. So I'll go ahead and plug it in, and oh, and by the way, the same thing happens to the Hyperkin Retron one. So it's not Yobo's fault. It's the manufacturer who made that AV to HD adapter, because I tested the Hyperkin on my other television, the non-4K TV, and that handled the AV to HDMI adapter just fine. Okay. Of course, make sure the cartridge slot is seated properly. As you can see on the left, now we're going to test the Yobo FC game console. Watch what happens when you have it hooked up to a 4K TV through this Armor AV to HD adapter. Look at that! What the heck is going on? I apologize if it's doing that. Now let me switch the aspect ratio to 720 and see if that fixes it. Nope. See, 720. Yeah. That's what it does to the Yobo. And just to prove a point, it's not just the Yobo doing that. I'm going to go ahead and hook up the Hyperkin to show you that that thing does the same thing. So we're going to unhook the Yobo and plug the Hyperkin in. So let's move the Yobo system out of the way and hook up the Hyperkin. So, put the cartridge in. There we go. And then I'll plug the AC adapter. Also, don't mix up the Hyperkin and Yobo AC adapters, because the outputs and inputs are slightly different on both of them. The Hyperkin uses a 200 milliamp. The Yobo uses a 250 milliamp. And now, here's it with the Hyperkin. Different system. Watch this. But as you can see, same principle. So it's not just the Yobo that's doing that. The Hyperkin FC Loader Retron 1 does the same thing as well. I don't get it. If you guys know how to fix this issue, let me know in the comments. Is it my AV adapter? Or is it my TV not supported with this device? I'd like to know, hopefully, because, well, maybe one day my AV Famicom will give out and I would have to use the Yobo or the Hyperkin. So, let me know. Thanks for watching. This is TJ's Tech Corner saying, hopefully this problem can be resolved if you guys know what's going on.